So today we're going to be doing a couple of little bits to the Zafira. I thought it's a lovely day out here, so why not? It's not been cleaned, so I thought I'd do this before it gets clean. Now you can see something that's been bugging me for a little while is that the headlights, even though this side of it is clear, you can see the top here started to yellow. You can see the UV light just makes these age over time and yellow. So you can see it's on both sides as well. But while I restore them, I thought it'd be a nice little touch to do what you do with the Astra size. So the Astra size, this chrome part inside the light, you can see here, is black, which I will show you comparison. So you can see here inside the light, that part there is black, and that's what we're going to do to the Zafira. So it just makes it look a lot more aggressive. And on the Zafiras, they don't have it. So the lights are the same as the standard Zafira, whether it's a 1.6 model or a GSI. They didn't smoke the lights, so I think it'd be a nice little touch. Gonna take the headlights out, give them a clean up, pull them apart, show you how I do it, and paint the insides of them black, and it'll look a lot more sporty. So it's a lot easier to do this sanding while it's on the car. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go around all the wing and the area that could get any sort of scuff marks that I don't want to get on the paint, and just masking tape it all up so you don't get any sort of damage before I pull these headlights off. So because this light is pretty oxidized, I'm just going to go over it first with some 1200 grit wet and dry paper, and then I'll go over it with some 2000 grit and then buff it with some buffing compound, because compound alone ain't going to get that out. So there you go, you can see the difference now. That's just been compounded, obviously wet and dried as well, as you just see. And if I show you side by side between the difference between the right and the left, see how much the right side is yellow, nasty yellow colour, and then the left side's crystal clear again. So just like on the Astras, you have to remove the bumper, the front bumper, to get to the bottom bolt of the headlight. People say take the wheels off, but you don't need to. Just turn the wheel and you can undo the ones out the side. You can do the same on the other side as well. Take the clips out of here. You can pull that away as long as you've undone the clips along the bottom. You can pull that away enough to get to the bolts, and then you'll be able to get that headlight out. So you can just pull the bumper away, and that's the one that you're looking for, that one in there. It's an 8mm. You need to undo that bolt in there, and you've got another two 8mm, one's there and one's there, and then all you do after that, get in here, unclip all your bulbs off the top, and then that headlight will just pull off. Right, that's the headlight off now. So what we've got to do now is basically we've got to separate this clear plastic from the actual casing itself. So you can see it's like glued in, so we're gonna have to heat it up. So the first thing to do is unclip all these rubbers. These rubbers clip onto there like that. I've already started taking them off. So once you've unclipped all this rubber like that, that rubber comes completely off. It's like a weather seal. It sits between the bonnet and the bumper, so that it doesn't let any water or moisture into the engine bay. So now you've got to that part, all we've got to do is give that a quick clean so we can see what's going on in there, and then we've got to heat. You can either put these in the oven, but I like to do it with a heat gun because it's a lot easier for me. Gonna give that a quick clean, and then you just literally heat all around here where the glue is, and then you can start to slowly pull it apart. So I'll do that and I'll show you. So you can see here I've already started going around it with a gun. You just want to go all around the sides, make sure it's all warm. It doesn't have to be melting point. You don't want to melt all the plastic. And then once you've done that, you've got these clips. You can see these tabs on the top. They've got to be pulled over because you don't want to be breaking the outside of the headlight. And then once that's done, I can't really do this one-handed, but you can see it is starting to come away already. You can see there, you can just start to pull it away, prise it away. Don't damage the casing, try not to damage it, just be slow. You can see there's tabs along the bottom as well. They've got to be pulled up before you try doing it. So remember, you don't want to get this stupidly hot, otherwise you will start to melt the plastic. You want to get it warm, hot, so it's just hot enough to touch. You can see it then just starts to come apart. So all that is just a glue. It's like a weather seal. You can see here how the glue's just like to come apart. So I'm going to go around this and get this out. Right, so there you go. That is the two completely separate parts of the headlight. So this is the side that we don't even need to take any notice of. So you can just put this side out of the way. The side that we want is this side. So you can see inside this cover, this is screwed on in multiple places. You want to take that out because this is the bit that we're going to be painting black. So you can see it in there. It's a little bit different to the Astra headlights, but it's probably a bit easier. So we're going to take this out now, outside of this clear casing, and this is the part we're going to paint. Right, so now you've undone these two little screws. You can see there, they're just little Torx heads. You see what size they are, T15s. And then you're left with this. This is the part, obviously, you're painting, like I said. You can see over time, it gets dirt and dust on it anyway, so it even looks cruddy inside the headlight. So even if you weren't going to change them to black, get them out and clean them. But obviously, we're changing these to black now, so we're going to get on with that. So the other thing you have to do quickly before sanding it down, you've got to take out this clear case. This is for the indicator. You can see there's just two clips, one at the bottom, one at the top. On these little prongs, just get flatted in there. That just pops off. So you can see here what I've done. I've went over the chrome and I've flatted it down so it's like a matte finish, you can see. And I've done that with an abrasive Scotch pad. You can see I went over it, and the key is you don't want to scratch into the chrome all the way to the plastic, because you want to use the chrome as a primer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over it with a finer Scotch-Brite just to smooth off any of these light scratches. And in there, I'm going to tape this up because I don't want any of the paint getting on here, because obviously this needs to still be reflective for the indicator. So I'm going to get sanding this down a little bit more now, tape it up. So that's sanded down, and this is the finish you're looking for, that dull matte finish there. You can see, so that the paint keys onto it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to give it a wipe over with some thinners. You can see I've taped up inside there so none of the overspray can get in there, and we can get to painting it. Right, so there you go. That's 3 coats of paint on there. I've just stuck over a coat of gloss lacquer as well. I'm just going to start untaping it now so we can get all these bits back together. I can bolt this back into the headlight housing. So just going to give it a wipe up as well inside, because it gets a little bit of, you see, bits and that get stuck in there over time. So make sure you give this a cleaning here while you've got the opportunity and it comes off. And that way you have a nice crystal clear lens. So obviously, before you put this black insert back into the headlight, you need to put in this lens cover, because you can't do it from the other side. So make sure you do that before you bolt it back in. Right, so that's the insert all bolted in there now. You can see how it's going to look when it's on the car. Now all you've got to do, just get your heat gun again and just go around all this rim here to make this sticky stuff re-sticky, basically, because it's going to have gone hard by the time you've done all this. You can also put in some extra adhesive in here as well if you wanted it to seal, but I find that it normally seals on its own, but it just saves you having to pull it back apart again if it starts leaking. Right, so that's all bolted back in there now. You can see how nice that's going to look when it's back in the headlight. So what you do now, get your heat gun again and go around all this glue, heat it right up so it's nice and sticky again, so you can seal this back up. You can go round it and put in some Tiger Seal if you want to do that. This is you just seal it up so you don't have to take it back apart again. But I found that they normally are fine again when you put them back in. Just make sure you get all this glue nice and sticky so that gets in there and properly seals it before you put it back together. So you want to get this nice and hot so it basically turns back to like a liquid. So if you see, when you start getting it hot, it almost starts to bubble and run. And you want to go round it all and do that, because when you do, you know that it's going to properly seal, because if it's too firm, it just won't seal properly. Right, and there we have it. That's a completed headlight, all stuck back together now. All the clips and everything are in their right places. Go round there, make sure they're all pushed down so these clips, they lip over. You can see they've all got to be lipped over the top of the plastic clips. And now we can put this back on. So I'm going to put this one on. I only want to do one side at a time so I could show you the difference. So I'm going to put this one back on, show you the difference, and then I'll do the other side. Also, make sure that you put on your weather seal back onto the headlight as well. I'm going to give this a quick clean up before I put it on because it's a little bit cruddy. Right, so that's the headlight fitted back to the car. Now you can see how it's going to look. So I wanted to do one at a time. So that's the smoke side clearly. So much better, like the GSI and the Astras, and that's the standard size. So you can see how much more aggressive it looks with the smoked light. I don't know why they didn't do it to the Zafiras and they done it to the Astras, but that's a direct comparison between the two. So yeah, I'm going to get on to getting the other headlight out now, do that one, get them both on there. So while I was on the subject of this car, a couple of little bits are done as well, just silly little bits. The usual Vauxhall badge started to peel off the airbag cover, so put on a nice new Opal one. Also on the back, managed to get hold of genuine Opal badge. I think I got it from Lithuania or something like that, but I've seen them now on eBay. They was really hard to get hold of, this was, but now there's a supplier on eBay for them, so if you ever need them. Right, so that's the last of the covers, all prepped up for paint. So we're going to get some black paint on that now. We can get it back together, get the second headlight in. So there we go, the last one, all freshly painted up in gloss black. So there we have it, all the headlights freshly smoked now, both sides done. See how clean that's looking now. So far better than the original headlights. Don't know why they didn't do this from the start. So this process doesn't have to just be done on this car. It can be associated with any of the cars that are out there, mainly with plastic headlights, but you can still do them with the ones with glass headlights. They're just a little bit more of a pain, but really transforms the front end of the car. It's a cheap mod to do, very easy to do. Get out there and do it. So I'll also get a clip tomorrow in the daylight, so you'll be able to see it a lot better, but I'm sure you can see exactly how it looks now. So I think the next little mod I'm going to do is get some LED fog light bulbs just to match the headlights and match the side lights, because you can see they're like a halogen type, the old school type. So I think I'm going to order some of them, get them fitted. So there you go, there's the video of it in the daytime. How much better does that look? I think you agree that looks brilliant now. So we're going to give the car a wash now because it's filthy. You can't see it up close. Silver hides the dirt really well. So I'm going to give this a quick clean up now. Hope you enjoyed the video.